Hi, everyone. Thank you. Give me just a quick second to share my presentation. Can you all see that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. So for those who might not know me, Shannon Santanacito with the End User Experience Group. I first want to just say thank you to the Innovation Fund Committee for allowing me this opportunity to present my idea to you. And so my innovation idea was around a unified room information system. How did I come up with this idea? You know, I work very closely with the room support team, the service desk, and we're often looked at as a resource to find bookable spaces across campus, but we find it very difficult to find that information. You know, we only support about a fraction of the bookable spaces on campus. And so, yeah, it's just really hard to find this information. And really what I wanted to do with this innovation idea was find out, you know, are there other key campus partners that are experiencing the same thing? And if they are they interested in such a system? And if they are, what would it look like to one? So I'd like to share with you a little bit about the process, about how I gathered some of that information, and then present to you what we learned, and then talk about some of those next steps. So with the help of the service strategy operations team, we were able to identify a bunch of key stakeholders across the campus. We held like a little discovery workshop where we, you know, talked a little bit about those pain points, what kinds of things folks were interested. And then I gathered a bunch of information from that workshop and a post survey that I did with folks to prepare and present to you today. One of the quick lessons I want to share when I was going through this discovery workshop process is that when you have a large group of people, because I was able to get a ton of people together, which was fantastic. But when you've got so many people, you really got to be clear about what your intentions are. A lot of folks actually thought, they didn't realize this was like, you know, me trying to find out what people's pain points were. They thought we were doing this already and they were getting left behind. So had to definitely set expectations that we'll see where this will go. So what did I learn? One of the key things that I want to show, sorry, let me see something on the screen, is that we were able to get 30 key campus partners to come talk to us about this. We had 6 of the 7 schools come talk to us. We had some pretty large departments, you can see that there. And in talking with them, definitely, yes, folks are absolutely interested in some kind of unified room information system. They definitely have the same pain points, and they definitely gave us a lot of, information about what they would be looking for in such a system. During that process, we also learned that there are, a bunch of different scheduling systems on campus. 25 Live is actually the largest one that's in use today. We did a deep dive on this topic with the registrar's office, and Shara Cho shared with us that 5 of the 7 schools are currently using 25 Live, in addition to 35 departments, which isn't including the School of Medicine, who also utilizes this. As a follow-up to the workshop, I also wanted to find out from our campus partners what their level of participation interest might be, should this initiative move forward. And nearly half of the folks that we polled, which was about 20 that responded, definitely want to contribute to something like this. And if they don't want to contribute, they definitely want to either integrate or take advantage of a unified system for their spaces. So on to some next steps. What I'm suggesting is that we kind of figure out, what our role is in with an initiative like this. I think that once we've determined our role, we definitely want to give the message that, we're looking to unify tools rather than replace them. The biggest pain point about Live 25 or any of these systems that folks are using is the UI, the front end UI. 25 Live is very difficult, and a unified front end to connect all our different systems could really just take all that to the next level. So in order to get there, I would suggest that we launch a discovery project to figure out what that UI design for the front end would be like. I also highly recommend that we partner with the registrar's office as soon as we can. One of the interesting things that I learned about the 25 Live part of the discovery is that it was initially meant to just be a classroom scheduling system. But what they found is people were very interested in using it for their conference rooms too. And so spaces that had both classrooms and conference rooms, departments were asking to have their conference rooms put in there. That was never really their intention. They really just want to focus on the classrooms, and they're actually getting to a point where they're looking for help to kind of manage 25 Live in general. They're looking for a centralized place to maybe put that. And in addition to that, they're also looking for a new curriculum management system where they can just focus on their classroom spaces. So it might be 25 Live, it might be something else, but they're definitely looking for some help. So I suggest that we partner with them and figure out if we have a role in that. One of the suggestions that they made was to convene a governance group for policy so that we can help folks that are using Stanford spaces understand the best way, the right way to do that. And someday what I really hope for this to be is a unified solution by bridging, all of these disconnected systems, with APIs and stuff like that. Finally, I would like to say thank you so much again to the innovation team for allowing me this opportunity to present this to you. Huge thanks to Nan McKenna, Molly Sharp, and John Lugo. Without them, I never would have gotten all those wonderful campus partners together in the same room. That was kind of incredible. And just some advice that I would offer: don't underestimate, even if you're just doing a proposal for a proposal, don't underestimate the time that it takes to work on your project. I would even say as soon as you have an idea, start thinking about how you would execute so that you can get it done. And in the same notion, leverage as many resources as possible so you can get the best results. Again, if I didn't have Molly, John, and Nan, I would not gotten nearly the reach, the breadth of folks that I got. And then last but not least, and I kind of joke about this a little bit, ask for money. You might need snacks. So the reason why I said that is because I thought, sure, proposal for a proposal. What could I possibly need money for, right? I did not think about my workshop, and the good news is I didn't have to bribe all these people to come talk to me about rooms on campus. They were so passionate about it that they just came and sat in a conference room with us for 2 hours. No food, no drinks, no nothing. So just in case, ask for money. You might need snacks. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to go next. So I'm going to share. So, should I stand?
Yes.
Where?
Do you want me to run
Well,
the
you can
slides?
stand there, you don't have to move.
Are you sure?
I'll move to the others, yeah.
I don't want to be able to. Awesome. All right. Well, my name is Stephanie Ricardez. I'm a technical consultant that works within CRC EUX. And thank you for letting me present today. I really appreciate it. My project, or the innovation project I had, was for the Stanford Rooms Ready app, which I will show here. Oh, there we go. So my project was essentially, my thought process on it was, I noticed that with a lot of the moves that were happening with Stanford Redwood City, with Slack before and Historic Campus, that there wasn't really a way to have impromptu meetings on the fly. And so what my thought process was, is we should have one place where we can get all of, availability for rooms, the equipment that's in the rooms, as well as just knowing what you're walking into when you reserve. Because I know a lot of us have gone into rooms that we just book on the fly and we're like, none of this will work for my meeting. So where can I find that room? We also noticed that a lot of the clients were unaware of the equipment, like how to use it. So we thought, why not have one place where we can get all of that information and have it on one app on your phone. So this is actually a live prototype that we have currently running, and you're able to download it using the QR code. So if you want to pull out your phones and download it to see for yourself, you can go ahead and do that. But essentially what the app is it's just a quick and easy way to book a room, either on the fly or for a later date. The tool provides quick descriptions of what the contents that are inside the room. So whether it be you need video conference, you need whiteboard, or you need room capacity, it has all those details within it. It also allows you, in cases where you run into issues with the conference system or you have questions about the conference system, you were able to call the local CRC room support team or submit a ticket or anything like that within the app.
Stephanie, is it talking to any of the systems that Shannon just mentioned?
It's not talking as of right now. Right now, it's just a front end prototype, the back end stuff. So like when you download the app, you could be playing around with it, and you're not going to be reserving any bookings or anything like that. But it's just for the front end part, and that was what we wanted to try to do with the innovation project. At least get something there. So with this. This is the approach we kind of took. I had no idea how to get this started, none whatsoever. But I did know how to ask for help. So I am actually, I don't want to say blessed, but I'm actually, I have an EED team within EUX, which is the endpoint development team, and they were able to help me get everything that I needed for this app. Whether it be app developers, whether it be designers, things like that. So essentially how we started was me, Nick, and Shannon, and Forrest and Terry, if you guys don't know, we're in a room on a whiteboard, writing out chicken scratch everywhere on what we wanted the app to look like, how we wanted it to work, and what the flow we wanted for it. Essentially what we did then is we used the design tool Figma, the software that you can just download, to kind of place everything in an order that like a user would use and things like that. From there, we used a development app or development tool for the app, which is Ionic Framework, and we were able to get one of our technical consultants to work on it for the app development part of it, which he was kind of thrown into it, so I feel bad, but he did an amazing job on it, and everything that you're seeing now is stuff that he'd been working on. We also, to kind of organize everything together, we used Jira to make sure that we had plans for what we wanted, and we were able to assign certain tasks and assign certain things that we wanted to see in the future and roadmap our plans for the app. So that's kind of where we were working with. And as I'm talking about roadmaps, this is our roadmap. So we, as of right now, it is an Android prototype, but you're also able to just download it with your iOS device just to see it. But we want to work on building out the app a little bit, so we can have like a frequent asked questions section. We can have a help section. We can kind of build more into that. Soon we will have soon we'll have the TimeKit.io integration. We'll release new versions, and we'll expand the application to other rooms. So right now it's currently only for Stanford, Redwood City, but we want to expand it to business affairs and other rooms that are possibly within the CRC room support contracts. So that way it's kind of more of a broad spectrum of people that can use the app. If you don't know what TimeKit.io is essentially software that you can use to talk to sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. You can use that to talk to other calendar resources and things like that, so that way you can book and see everything in real time. So someday, with Shannon's awesome proposal that she had, someday we hope to have all of, expand the app to 25 live and expand it to more than just, historic campus in Redwood City. We can expand it to other departments as well, whether it be School of Medicine, things like that. So that way the school has one app that they can use to book rooms on the fly. And as I come to a close, I just want to just share a couple of things that I learned along the way. So time goes by very fast. So you have 3 months and you think you can do everything you want, but it's not possible. So just take your time, but also utilize every minute that you have. And yeah, the second thing I would say is don't be scared to ask for help. I am never scared to ask for help because I am always trying to figure things out. But it was crazy for me to understand that how many people were willing to support me with my idea and how many people like actually believed in the idea that I had. And so they were more than willing to help me out. And I thought that was awesome. Feedback is golden, whether it be positive or constructive. A lot of the times with apps, you're going to get a lot of feedback because of the user experience. You want to make sure you're able to use it. Everyone's able to, can understand it in a sense. So I would say take any feedback that you have and just roll with it. Try not to overstress. I do that all the time. I know I've told Kim a lot. We've had a couple of one-to-ones in the past couple of weeks, and I was just stressed out, didn't know what to do, but I would say enjoy the ride. Try not to stress out about it so much. It's okay to be attentive. It's okay to be engaged, but don't lose sleep over it and don't let yourself get stomach aches over it. In the end, you're going to be here just presenting, and it's going to be awesome. I would like to just give some shout outs to the team that helped me out. The EED team was a big part of the innovation that I was going for. So Joe Knox was the designer. He helped with the Figma, he helped lay out the Figma software that we had so that he had that great workflow and how the user experience was going to be. And he was only like a couple days in when we put him to work. He had just started and then we put him to work to help us with it. And then Johnny Lai was the lead app developer. Like I said, he's a technical consultant, so that wasn't his day job, and he was able to help us get this on the phone and working as a front-end prototype. And then Shannon Santancito, she is just an amazing person if you've never worked with Shannon before, and she is like my #1 pep talker. But she really helped us kind of get everything together, help us schedule meetings, help us stay focused on the end goal. We also have a couple other people who were.
You're gonna have to tie it up.
Oh, I have a lot. We have Forrester Terry and Jimmy Valles, who are also part of the EED team. They did a lot of the back end stuff, and they stayed up like really late nights helping, so I appreciate them. And just Nick Manning, he was the business manager as well as the product manager for the app, and he did an amazing job just making sure everything was working together. He helped us out so much, and I appreciate everything he did. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Does that count against my time?
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, hello, Brad Emanuel from End User Experience. And I have the unenviable task of presenting something that is not demoable. I can't show you what this is. It's all behind on living in the cloud. But my innovation proposal was ticket urgency and triage detection. The whole thing that we put together was having a human being read tickets to understand how urgent it is, when it's supposed to happen, and what it's regarding is very expensive. We actually have about an FTE and a half within CRC alone that does this for every single ticket that comes in. It's extremely expensive. We believe that we could probably build a machine learning robot to do this for us. So the way we approached this was to look at what machine learning is really good at and see how it applies to what these human beings are doing, and could we match it up, knowing that machines can't do everything humans do. Number one thing that we use in machine learning right now is sentiment analysis. Is this ticket coming from someone who's angry? Are they frustrated? Or are they happy? Because in our world, the human being reads that and says, this person sounds really frustrated. I better send someone who's really white gloves, or wow, we screwed up a big time on that one. I better send a manager first before we send out a tech to get slaughtered. out there, right? So we wanted to understand where this person is coming before we react to a ticket. Machine learning, sentiment analysis does this for us. It's really good at reading. You build a model that can read the language and then react and understand what that person is saying. We also use priority classification. So this is when something has urgency detected and it's happening, or they put in caps, all caps, like Laura Ma did, urgent in there. It says somebody needs to act on this right away. Machine learning is also really good at this. We can use this to detect urgency and priority for it. And the best part is this message actually came in. It's a real message, came in on Sunday afternoon. And this apparently, this machine learning is an exempt employee because it was working on Sunday for us. And then finally, keyword extraction. And this is the one that, as someone who has to do analysis and metrics on the back end of all the work that CRC does, I am thrilled to have here. Steve's senior management meeting, we had the metrics get posted yesterday. And you see this big long line that says contract desktop support in the last 30 days, 1,800 tickets. That's all it tells you in the metrics from ServiceNow right now. With tagging, we can actually look for keyword extraction and tag what a ticket was about. Is this a VPN issue? Is this cardinal key issue? Those do happen, Michael. Is it Slack or email? And the best part is it's not just keyword where it says the word email, thus it becomes email. It actually, the way we train the model, it prevents false positives. So if somebody says, I was on my email, I was typing an email when my computer died and started smoking, it says that's a hardware issue, not an email problem. The natural language processing can do it. The nice thing is when you tag it, you can then run stats on it. So you turn the left sidebar, which is contract desktop support, into saying, oh, you know what, 45 of those were VPN issues. And this one was a cardinal key issue. And these red ones were urgent. The nice thing is there's multiple tags that get applied. So my favorite one so far is somebody submitted a VPN issue with cardinal key, and we got both of those tags added right onto it. So it is a problem with the service for VPN and cardinal key. We could figure out from there. It counts to the same numbers. So we did this by hiring the EUX OpsBot. And so this little employee here has been working for quite a bit now and is learning things every day. But right now it's a very basic job. What it does is in red is everything it's doing today. And so a new snow ticket, ServiceNow ticket comes in, it pops it into a database. And then it has these little worker scripts that happen, and it assigns sentiment, it does keyword tagging, looks for urgency, and do all these things in the database. And then what happens in the database then triggers a series of workflows. Right now we have 2 workflows running. So if someone has a high urgency, it pops a message into a Slack channel that all of CRC monitors and says, hey, this person's expressing urgency. You may want to respond earlier than you normally would. It also then tags the information in service, or it tags it in the database. The workflow then sends those tags to ServiceNow itself. And this way we can build, Shannon actually can build reports and dashboards for us so that we can see, hey, what's going on today? I have a report that gets sent to me, not yet in ServiceNow, we're moving it in there, but every day at noon that says, here are the tickets over the last 24 hours. If the bar that says VPN is way long, we see maybe we have a systemic issue that's going on and we want to take a look at it. The gray ones are ones that we hope to add, so monitor Slack channels, since we do have customer-facing Slack channels or future API integrations like monitoring. And really one I can't wait for is when someone says, I need someone at my desk at 11 a.m., we'll be able to use the API that's already in CRC time and schedule an appointment and a tech without any human intervention just at that moment. Excited about that one. So how we built it, and this is why Nick Manning's in the room, because I understand very little of this. So what you have is at the top, we have APIs, Smarty, thank you, for ServiceNow, MonkeyLearn, and Slack. The bot itself is in AWS as a serverless architecture. So we have Lambda scripts that do the API integration. We have a DynamoDB that is where we store the information. And then we have Lambda scripts that do the workflow and the worker analysis on it. It's built with AWS, JavaScript, Node.js, and MonkeyLearn, which is our machine learning backend. So again, no demo because it's not something I can really demo. But I have to thank Shannon Santana-Cito. She's getting lots of props for her project manager skills. She kept us on track. Jeremy Higgins, who is a member of CRC, and he is Shannon's protege, I think is the way to say it, and our data analyst. So he's actually the one who tagged all these things to build the model. And then the EUX endpoint engineering development team, Jimmy Vallis, did our cloud infrastructure, the AWS part. Forrester Terry was lead developer, and our intern, Matt Freshwaters, who is a computer science major at Pepperdine, who had never ever seen front-end development like this just jumped in and started writing Lambda scripts for us. We couldn't have done it without UIT partners, so Smrti and Vasilis and Wendy help us. We had to update the CRC API into ServiceNow to allow tags. Also, Noah and Michael from TCG helped us set up the AWS infrastructure. Doug Chalmers helped us actually negotiate the darn deal, which took a little bit. So lessons learned, what I would say to anybody else, plan time for DRA and procurement. So we hit DRA at exactly the worst possible time, but we got through it. And then the procurement negotiation took a little bit longer than we thought with Monkey Learn. So we actually lost about 2 months off of our time before we actually had access to the full product. Start small and modular. This is built so that we can add a skill set one piece at a time to EUXBot. And we're looking forward to doing that. And then find a great team that wants to learn. Everybody who was writing and coding and doing these things had very little background doing this specific serverless architecture. And this group just got into it. They learned, they had to work a little extra as we got close to deadlines and things. But that was that kind of like excitement. And I think part of that is because the innovation program is an exciting thing to do. Really helped us move it forward. So thank you. Stop share. I'll trade you.
Switch.
Okay, hi, I'm Smrti Panda. I'm part of ServiceNow development team, UIT. So this project that was approved by Innovation Fund is related to Slack integration with ServiceNow. So basically there are a lot of integration points that we can do it directly from Slack to ServiceNow. And so user can get all the data and like, if they want, they can create incidents and stuff. So initially we plan to do like 5 integration points, but we eventually got with like 12 integration points right now.
Wow.
So we have a couple of things more that is coming up, but I'm just going to go over all the integration points that we have done. And like we can take like, if we have any questions or any suggestions, we can add those. So these are all the integration flows. And this is the team that was mostly involved, the ServiceNow team. Okay, so the first point is like, what are all the incidents that are assigned to me? Like we can use some of these keywords that we have defined, but we can add more keywords if the user or business says like we want some specific keywords, then we can add those. So based on these keywords, we can receive results. Like what are the incidents assigned to me? Right now, I'm just showing only one, but there can be multiple incidents that are assigned to me. And then if a user want to see like if there are, what are the incidents that the user has created, like he has requested or somebody else has created on behalf of the user. So using these keywords, we can basically get all those incidents. And these are all the incidents that we have taken it from ServiceNow. So I'm going to show demo some of these after the presentation if time permits. And if somebody wants to add a comment to an incident that he has reported, like he wants to know the status and stuff, he could actually put a comment in this format. Like he can put the incident and add comment and give the comment, and so that comment will be added to the ServiceNow incident. And let's say somebody wants to see more details about the incident, like all the comments from starting and all the details about the incident. So he could use these keywords like incident number and view incident status, and it will show all the details about the incident. And also one thing, these are all that till now I'm showing, these are all user initiated. Like user has to initiate this so that he can get the reply into Slack. And then again, this is like if the user want to see like what are the pending approvals, like let's say he has a change request, he wants to approve, so he could do it through Slack. So right now we are showing just approve and reject. And once, let's say he selects reject, then we give a pop-up and he could actually enter a comment and he could submit it, and the request will be rejected. And let's say the user has an incident assigned to him, like a fulfiller, and he want to assign that incident to someone else in his team. So he could do that using this functionality. He could actually type one of these keywords, and then we are going to show him a list of all the incidents that are assigned to the user. And from there, he could pick any of the incidents that he wants to reassign. And then he can pick a group. But right now, we are just using only one group. The user, let's say user is part of a development group. So he could pick the users from that group. And once he selects, basically that one gets assigned to him, like the other users. And then if an incident or a ticket is assigned to some particular group, specific group, then we can have a Slack channel that is linked to that group that will receive that this incident or ticket has been assigned to your group. So this is a sample demo below. For example, like we have a ServiceNow development channel that we have linked to SU ServiceNow development team. So if anything, any ticket gets assigned to SU ServiceNow development team, then we receive a message saying this ticket has been assigned to your group. Then same thing happens for any individual. So we have a generic group, like let's say ServiceNow development team. And in that case, let's say any ticket gets assigned to me or anyone individually, then it posts a message saying this ticket is assigned to you, and that message only you can see. Not everybody can see it. It's a generic channel, but still that message only the intended user can see. Similarly, there are some other system initiated integration points, like if a change request is migrated successfully for a particular group, then that group is going to get a message saying this change request has been migrated. And this is for particular groups. Like let's say other user comes and they want to have this message set up. So basically we have to create a Slack channel and link it to that group. Same thing about outage, also system initiated. Like if we create an outage and we want to get a message, we can link it to the outage channel, and there we can receive all the system initiated messages. Another thing is like the major incident communication plan, where basically if there is a major incident and we want to communicate right now, we send an email. So including the email also, we can post it to the Slack. We have a checkbox. Based on that, we can post it to the Slack channel. And there is another integration point, which is for the UID change management. Like if any change gets approved or rejected, they get a message in the Slack channel on this that this change has been approved or rejected. Okay, there are two more things that we are working on. Is post-breach SLA details. Like if SLA is breached, so we are going to send a message to basically a channel and the create incident. These are two things that we are still working on. Okay, so I'm going to show some of the integration points that we just discussed. Oh, you can't see my screen.
So is this in production?
Right now, this is not in production. Right now, it's in Proto 2, but the plan next is, to talk to the extended team and the project team to see how we can take this to the product.
Why don't we hold on doing the demo
Okay.
until after, so we can make sure we have enough time for the last two,
Okay.
and then we can do it at the end.
Okay, that sounds good.
But thank you.
Okay.
I like the name. It's Snowbot.
Yeah, the bot is from bot.
I think the funniest thing of any of these are just naming your bot and picking an emoji picture for.
Okay, so you see. Hi. All my computers are good. So, if you don't know me, my name is Marco Wise, and I work with the University IT Communications team, and I wanted to talk about the RSP registration project. First, this is not the last slide, this is the first slide. I'm not done yet. I just really wanted to thank the team, the extended team, and everybody else that has worked on the innovation program, because I thought that was great. It's great for UIT, it's great for the university, and it was also great personally for me, because I truly believe this, that if you find something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And so I really believe that, except that I haven't found about that yet.
Marco, you're writing a whopping 1. No sympathy.
I wanted to just cover how it used to be before, and like this is how the old days was. How you had to create, how you had to create events in the past. So on the left hand side in this video, you can see how you would do it if you were using a Google worksheet, and this is what people use for things like building an IT program or the neurodiversity signups. That's on the left hand side. Right hand side is a little bit easier, actually faster for me to actually do, and those are for the UIT roundtables. So as you can see, there's a lot of steps required to create these event signups, and even though I wrote very detailed instructions on how to do these, people just don't want to follow them for some reason. So I'm going to stop this actually because it's getting kind of long. I just wanted to show you how. Oops. Nope, no. Go back. Okay, so this is what I've built. And it's called the Stanford Event Registration System. And the way it works, I wanted to really try to make it so that it would be not much more work than creating a regular event on your calendar. So you would create an event by giving it a name, let's say UIT Roundtable. Location, like IWC somewhere, Zoom ID, and then some kind of information URL, because you need that, like where your website is. Some text. This ends up going to the users when they receive an invitation. And then you decide on your dates, right? So there's no date right now. So let's say we are doing the June 27th roundtable. And you pick date. Let's say we're doing it at 12. And it lasts until 1. If you leave max attendees out, then you can have as many people as you want attend this event, but that's of course not going to work because we're serving pizza. So you need to have just a few people. So we'll say there's one option, which is I will attend in person. And then you can select that we are just going to have 15 people in person. And also you can select how many people could be on the wait list. And the way this works is the wait list is automatic. The event manager doesn't have to worry about that. If somebody signs up for something, and then that fills up the list and somebody gets on the wait list, when somebody cancels, the next person gets automatically added. And then, oh, okay, didn't want to really do that. Okay, add another one. You can say, I will attend on Zoom, and then maybe one more. I will not be able to attend. And this one is a special one. So you have options like, for sometimes one thing that I learned is that sometimes some of the options aren't really options. Like I will not be able to attend. You don't want to send somebody an email saying, hey, you're not going to be attending, and here's a calendar invite telling you you're not attending. So there's an option here for cancellation. And that's it. So once you click save, you get a page. that has a roundtable. Of course, the text is very low. You get a nice box where people can come and say whether they'll attend or not and RSVP. These boxes can be placed on other people's websites. Well, not just other people's. People can place them on their own websites. And then when you do that, let me see if you can see, you start getting an email. Okay, yeah. So did you see that? That went a little fast, but you get a message by email saying you've signed up. Congratulations, you've been registered. And then you get an event invitation as well. If you signed up for Zoom, the event will also include the Zoom information. So that's how it works now. And I'm going to skip this slide, which was my backup slide, in case it didn't work. I recorded it previously. What I'd like to, what I'm thinking about for next steps is basically this. So at the moment, I'm still working on the dev site. But the way I built it is that this is built in Drupal, and there's a module that powers the entire web, that powers the major functionality. And I just want to polish a couple of things, right? That I know tough ones, but not too bad with the main site. But the module is ready to go. So I want to take those two, can separate those, and I would like to install it on the UIT community website. That would be the next step. So we can run all the UIT events using that.
So are you saying that then I don't get to ask you anymore? I get to do this myself?
You could do it yourself. Yes, that's
Okay.
my
You can
primary
ask him
goal.
to put it.
That's your primary goal.
In fact, these are two of the events that you have just asked for, and I'm using the system to do
To
this.
do this.
Eventually, I'd like to talk to SWS to see whether we can put this module onto the stack. And so anybody who creates a site on Stanford Sites could create their own mini conference or whatever, and they would have their own registration system. And then if there is a need for it still, for people that don't have sites on Stanford Sites, maybe having a single standalone site that can be used for all kinds of, say, if you run WordPress, whatever, you could just take that block that I showed you and move it over. Okay, I thanked the team, but there's a lot of other people that helped out. First of all, Jim and Nancy for giving me Mondays to work on this. This was awesome. Michael, Alex, and Noah helped with setting up the server for TCG. Shiram, Sangeeta, and Samir for the workgroup API and credentials. I got this really quick. Carla, Joshua, and Molly for navigating, creating a student ID for this user for the RSVP. Brad and team for introducing me to Zapier. And then, of course, Brian for creating a beautiful looking website, and then Rachel for helping me with lots of advice on what she wants to see. Okay, so one thing that I've learned is that the faster you go, the more you feel the bumps, right? So what's kind of interesting about this project is that I kind of knew what to expect, right? You do innovation, you need lots of people to work on it. You need, it's gonna take longer than you expect. But one thing that I noticed from this event, from this working on this, was that the faster you're trying to go, the more you feel the friction in all the different points. Like you said, it took 2 months to get vendor management to work with, right? Or for me, it was a server, for example. It only took 2 days. It's not that much, right? But when you're trying to build on this, it feels like it's taken an eternity. So I'm thinking that the innovation program can also help sort of point out where there's like missing, where there's some places where we can be more efficient, for example. Because we may understand why it takes so long, but our clients probably don't, and they'll just say, why can't I just request a server and just have it done like that? I think Noah's working on that. I think. The other thing that I've wanted to say, and it's not coming up, but okay, what would you say to others? And what I would say to other people that want to do this is just do it. If you have an idea and you don't take any steps to actually work on it, you're never going to be successful. You can't be innovative and just sit there and think about being innovative. You've got to take the shot. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Marco, are you going to share that with the Drupal community?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I went to the web leaders group and kind of mentioned that I was working on this, and they said that they were interested in like using it.
That's great.
Two things. I need to unshare, and I'll switch places with you so I can. So
Last
Rachel
but
can
not
see that.
least, our final innovator.
All right. All right. Don't look at me like that. So for those who don't know me, I'm John Russell. I oversee the service desk and iTalk. So I have yet another ServiceNow/Slack project. So I was concentrating on the customer-facing input for ServiceNow, and the problem statement is right there. Less than 1% of our users use chat to solicit support for UIT services. Why is that a problem? Well, consumers prefer chat almost by 60%. So the fact that we only have 1% usage is alarming. Also, NLP right now is being operationalized on the cusp, but I think Gartner says in 2 years, 70% of companies will use a chatbot internally. We have a lot of self-help around UIT, but not all of it's used effectively. Some of it's not used at all. Live chat is cheaper than phone support by almost 50%. And tier 0 support is really cheap when customers help themselves and don't contact the service desk or CRC. So that's why I took this. So how? There we go. So I wanted to leverage ServiceNow's virtual agent and agent intelligence component. So about, why isn't this? Oops, sharing paused. Sorry. Try this again. Share again. There we go. So about a year ago, ServiceNow launched their own internal chatbot. And so we wanted to use that. And I also wanted to enable live chat behind the chatbot in case a user had an issue that the automation couldn't resolve. And then we wanted to make that capability available via Slack because Slack is very popular and our users like it a lot. And so rather than pushing to the portal, we wanted to sort of meet the customers where they are. And then finally, we partnered with Acorio, which is a ServiceNow partner, to accelerate to do this because, frankly, I couldn't do it on my own. So concentrated on 6 use cases. So the first was fairly easy, search the knowledge base. Second one was create a new incident with a preemptive knowledge search. Submit a new request, check the status of existing ticket, see if there's any outages. So, is email slow, or is there any problem with mailman, that kind of thing. And then finally do live chat with an agent, and again with preemptive knowledge search. So if there's already self-help available, we want to point the users to that before contacting. So how'd we do? We got 4 out of the 6 to functionally work. So the issue with submit a request, well, we have 2 types of requests, so that sort of confused the system between request and support request. And also, the way I wanted request to work was to have each field sort of be filled in as in the chat interface. So ask for your PTA, ask for what you want, and that. And it was basically throwing you out to the ServiceNow form, and just the search capability wasn't as good as we had hoped. And then the live agent chat worked fine, with the exception of every once in a while it lost connection between the agent and the customer, and there was no indication that that communication had stopped. So it looked like one or both parties being unresponsive, and so I consider that to be unacceptable. Speaking of acceptable, there's a difference between functionally working and being ready for customer-facing use. And so there were a number of issues. Most of these have to do with the UX of the Slack integration that ServiceNow built. Almost every single time you showed a result set, It had a JPEG of the result set and then links to the external information, whether it was an incident or whether it was a knowledge article or whether it was a request form. And it just looked funny. So, so the summary of sort of what we found, was the knowledge search itself and the request search was still contextual. They weren't actually leveraging machine learning yet. That's not till later released. So some of the contextual search didn't work very well. Slack interface I talked about, live agent chat I talked about. Every link required an external connection. Request forms couldn't be filled out within the chat window. And once you got into a workflow, it was really hard to get out. Saying agent, exit, leave, buy, none of it worked. It just sort of made you go through the rest of the workflow before it let you come out. So obviously, it's not ready for prime time. So my key findings, just that. The current version isn't ready. There are improvements in New York and Orlando that are coming that promise better functionality, and we'll look at it again. But when I started looking at some of the use cases, ServiceNow is great if you're looking for a knowledge article or a status of an existing ticket. But that's really the only thing. That's the only thing it's truly acts as a source of truth for. So when you looked at some of the tier 1 resolved tickets, customers looking for a piece of information. When's my history homework due? When is the football game? When is how many pending items do I have in OF Web? When does the next Marguerite shuttle get here? And so for that reason, and the research kind of backs this up, having a chat function that's attached to a tool is probably not the best way to go because it limits you to whatever information is in that specific tool, whether it's Salesforce or ServiceNow or Oracle. So what I'd like to do is look at an independent chatbot that can connect to multiple systems. And so that's what is sort of next for us. So first and foremost, we canceled the public-facing pilot because it's not quite ready yet. So I've been reaching out to my counterparts in LBRE and BPTL and FMS and other places to look at what are some use cases they have for simple customer interactions that can be solved with a single piece of data or a single piece of information. And then I want to identify those workflows as possible ways to move forward with a new type of project, whether it's something outside of our independent chatbot. So want to end there. I have a lot of people to thank. I'm not sure, I probably won't remember everybody. Thank you, Tara, for Tara Robinault for letting me use the Corey relationship. Thank you to Doug Chalmers and Angela Solari for trying to get the pilot approved with ServiceNow and also the procurement for Choreo. Thanks to Sam for offering to pay for the pilot. Sarav for access to the dev environment at ServiceNow, Brad for the access to the Slack dev environment, and my team who did a heck of a lot of research and banging on this to see if it worked. So there is a demo if you want to see it. I'll save it for folks who are really interested. But